As students join us on Clinical Practice 1 at the start of their PGCE, what could their practice look like in terms of modelling and increasing repertoire of teaching techniques?
Quite often, students can be nervous as they embark on teaching and learning, and the routine of the lesson and building positive relationships for learning are at the forefront of the students' thoughts. This can also result in a limited repertoire of teaching techniques, as students will often try and play it safe, sticking to maybe techniques they have perhaps seen in action, either in the university or from colleagues that they've observed in their departments. Sometimes they can become over-reliant on a particular technique, and this may not meet the needs of the learners and ensure progress in learning. The technique may be inappropriate, but it's a bit like a comfort blanket for some of the student teachers.
How could the student teacher and mentor address the need to develop further teaching techniques in order to ensure all learners progress?
Collaboration is key here. Developing a repertoire of teaching techniques just does not happen overnight. This takes time, reflection and a lot of deliberate practice, and this will build on the student teacher moving through each transition point. We're moving from unaware to aware, using research and inquiry time to complete observations initially within the department is absolutely vital. However, these observations cannot be completed in isolation. Student needs to ask questions about why certain techniques can be used. A learning conversation is vital to unpick the technique. The conversation should initially focus on the how the technique is used, with some basic conversation about why it is used with a particular group of learners. This should lead to collaborative planning and teaching so the student can be supported in developing further techniques. Also, techniques can be role modelled so the student can explicitly see the technique in action. This develops confidence in the student teacher, and it will have a positive impact on learning and the learner progress.
Based on this element of professional learning, what progress would you expect to see by the student teacher as they move from unaware to aware in the descriptor I1?
In their planning, I would expect to see the development of further techniques rather than just the initial go-to techniques. Although the impact on learning may be inconsistent to begin with support, there will be an increasingly positive impact on teaching and learning as they increase their repertoire of teaching techniques. I would expect to see the student teacher growing in confidence with their chosen technique, providing some success when working towards their learning intentions.
What examples or resources would best illustrate the progress made?
When a student teacher is moving from unaware to aware in the descriptor I1, I would be focusing on the first half of the descriptor, models an increasing repertoire of teaching techniques, rather than the second half of the descriptor in order to inform and enhance the development of others. In the student mentor meetings, I would expect to see evidence of learning conversations relating to teaching techniques. This can be evidence on the student's PLP. The student will be more confident in this professional dialogue. On the student's learning timetable, I'd expect to see a research and inquiry time being used for focused observations relating to teaching techniques and also further research around this area. I would expect the students to be fully integrated into the whole school teaching and also learning professional programme. For example, in Esco Government Tredegar Comprehensive School, there's a focus on our teaching and learning strategy, Dr. Rice, and using walkthroughs as a playlist of techniques as an index of excellence. There would be evidence in the student's blue book and through day-to-day informal conversations that a repertoire of techniques was starting to be introduced. There would also be the introduction of increased techniques in planning.